Hello and welcome to Lost Love Mystery, where we explore the twists and turns of love, the pain of betrayal, and the mysteries that lie hidden in the heart. It was late one evening when I first overheard my wife's voice on the phone, a voice that for years I had trusted implicitly, a voice I had never imagined could betray me. Her laughter echoed from the other room, light and carefree, as if nothing in the world could touch her. But what I heard next froze me in place. My husband is such a gullible country bumpkin. Even if he caught me in bed with two lovers, I could still convince him I'm faithful. I felt the blood drain from my face. My stomach turned as the words sank in. All these years I had believed in her. I had thought we were building something real, something lasting, and here she was laughing, mocking me as though I was a fool. Her name was Valeria, and she was everything I'd ever wanted: intelligent, beautiful, and full of life. We had met in Vienna, where I worked in finance, a quiet man from a small town. I had always been the responsible, steady type, while she was the vivacious socialite who seemed to light up every room. But beneath her charm, I never knew what lurked in the shadows. The betrayal wasn't just about the affair. It was about the way she played me, the way she thought she could get away with it all. Lying, scheming, pretending to be the devoted wife. She had completely underestimated me. I stood in the hallway, my heart pounding in my chest. I could barely process what I had just heard. But one thing was clear. My whole world had just shifted. My wife, the woman I had given everything to, had been lying to me for who knows how long, and worse. She didn't think I would ever find out. In that moment, I realized that I'd been living in a bubble. The man I had been, the one who trusted and loved with all his heart, was no more. That man was gone, and the one standing here now? He was someone who would make sure Valeria felt the weight of her actions. I couldn't confront her right away. I couldn't let her know that I had overheard. No, I had to play this carefully. I had to wait for the right moment to strike. The revenge I had in mind wasn't something rash. It was something calculated, something that would make her regret ever thinking she could fool me. I spent the next few days pretending as if nothing had changed. I was calm, collected. At times I could see Valeria looking at me curiously, as if she sensed something was off, but she didn't know the truth. But I knew. I started to dig, quietly, carefully. I checked her phone, her emails, and even her social media. It didn't take long before I uncovered everything. There were messages, countless messages from her lover. A man named Lucas. He was an architect, a smooth talker who seemed to have all the right words to make her believe he was her soulmate. And yet, to him, she was nothing more than a game, a prize to be won, and discarded when the fun was over. It was so obvious now, but for years I had been blind. Valeria had orchestrated a life that appeared perfect on the surface, all while playing me for a fool behind closed doors. The more I discovered, the more I realized just how deep the betrayal ran. But now I had the upper hand. I had the evidence, the secrets, and the knowledge that Valeria had underestimated me. It was time for the game to shift. I would be the one holding the cards now. The first step of my plan was simple: silent manipulation. I started to act a little more distant, a little more cold. At dinner, I would remain quiet while Valeria chatted about her day, her work, her friends. I wanted her to feel the shift, but I didn't give her the satisfaction of asking her why I was acting this way. No, I wanted her to wonder. And then, I waited. A week later, it was time for phase 2. I set the stage by creating the perfect opportunity. I invited Lucas over for a casual dinner. I knew he would be curious about why I had extended the invite. He would want to know if I had caught wind of his affair with my wife. What he didn't know was that I was playing a much bigger game. When Lucas arrived at our apartment, he was charming as ever, his smile a little too wide. He greeted me like an old friend, though I could see the in his eyes. Valeria, on the other hand, was a little too eager, almost overly cheerful, but I could tell she had no idea what was coming. Over dinner, I kept the conversation light, pretending not to notice the undercurrents of tension. Valeria couldn't meet my gaze, and Lucas kept shifting in his seat. The air between us was thick with anticipation, but neither of them knew what I had in store. Finally, after dessert, I leaned forward, my eyes locking with Lucas's. His face turned pale. "So, Lucas, I've been meaning to ask you, I said, my voice cool and deliberate. How do you sleep at night knowing that the woman you're sleeping with is married to a man who trusts her completely? Valeria's eyes widened and she froze. Lucas stammered, looking between the two of us, his face flushing with embarrassment. What? What are you talking about? He asked, trying to play it off. I pulled out my phone and casually dropped it on the table. The messages, the evidence. It was all there, in black and white. I think we both know, Lucas, I said softly. You and Valeria, you've been having an affair for months. You didn't think I'd find out, did you? Valeria stood up abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. This isn't what you think, Lars, she pleaded. I can explain. But it was too late. Valeria's world came crashing down. The guilt, the fear, the panic. She couldn't hide it anymore. She begged me for forgiveness, told me that it had been a mistake, that she was sorry. But I wasn't listening. I wasn't the same man I had been before. Lucas, on the other hand, had no idea how to respond. He tried to apologize, tried to smooth things over, but nothing he said mattered anymore. I had won, but I wasn't done. I didn't want her to just feel the pain of betrayal. I wanted her to truly understand the depth of her mistake. So, I took it a step further. I called her parents. I sent Lucas' wife a message, telling her the truth about her husband. I made sure the whole world knew what she had done, what they had done. By the time the dust settled, Valeria was no longer the woman I had married. She was a shell, broken and humiliated. She begged me to take her back, to forgive her, but I could see it in her eyes. She wasn't sorry. She was sorry she got caught. And as for me, I walked away, stronger than I had ever been. Sometimes revenge isn't about anger. It's about justice. It's about showing the person who wronged you that they can't just walk away unscathed. It's about taking control of your life again. And in the end, I found peace. Because I knew that karma always has a way of catching up. Thank you for being part of this journey with me. If this story moved you, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to Lost Love Mystery. I've noticed that over 80% of you watch these stories but aren't subscribed yet. One simple click helps bring you more powerful tales just like this. By subscribing, you're not just following a channel. You're joining a community that values deep, meaningful storytelling. Let's continue exploring these heartfelt journeys together. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss our next gripping story. And if this story resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Your support means the world. And together, we keep these stories alive.